Well, hello, everybody. Been a while since we've been in here. Um, as you know, I had some surgery here a while back, and this is our first time getting back into the gathering since then, the fellowship. Um, it's been 6, 7 weeks since we've done anything here. We do, we do believe. I do think that it's nice to be back, and we're back again. We want to thank Mary and Paul for being the technical support behind the cameras and on the computer. And of course, we want to welcome any light spirits in, as well as all of you out there and watching this today, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it after the fact. We want to welcome you here to be watching this. We have one major announcement. We're changing our platform here a little bit, so we're not going into the chakras today. I think we'll be starting that next week. We're going to change our platform a little bit. We're going to do the live section of this on TikTok, and then we will copy it over and put it out on YouTube as a recorded video. So you still watch it on YouTube, and but the live session will be on another social media platform. We're doing that to try and reach more people, try and bring the messages that people need and people can get in other ways. And that goes right into our talk today about spirit talks to you in many ways. So we're not, and we're also looking at changing our venue eventually, not right away. We're not set up for it, but we are looking into options where we don't have to travel so far. And to get to our venues, we're not having any live people here. So we're looking at doing it in a different type of studio where we don't have the availability for live people to come in. Everything we're doing is pretty much online, and so we're going to be working on quite a few things. I didn't get as much done on my time off as I wanted to, simply because this hip surgery has become quite a painful and difficult recovery. So I didn't get some of the back office work done that I wanted to. So we may take it may be delayed in some of the things we're doing because um, just because of the time it's taken me to recover. So, but I am glad to be back. I am glad to be part of this. This is what I believe I'm supposed to be doing at the moment, and we'll move on from there. So, as we thank everybody for showing up and coming and watching us, we thank all the light spirits that want to come and help guide us today. We want to make sure that we are doing the right thing. So we will talk about that in a little bit. Um, anyway, let's go ahead and settle in and get just a few minutes of relaxation for yourself and gathering yourself to listen to whatever message it is you're supposed to hear today. And we'll go from there. And I will mention too, real quick, I may not be standing up the whole time like I have in the past, just because my hip is bothering me a little bit today, and mostly the recovery part of it. The hip itself has been a major um, success. So we're just still in pain from the healing. So with that said, let's go ahead and relax into things. Take a couple moments of your own in your own setting and ask for whatever it is you want to ask for, and bring back into into our setting of what we want to talk about today and what you need to receive or want to receive. So today we want to just talk about, and this was brought about because of our change of how we're doing things here. And this is a work in progress, and we try to be guided to what we're doing. And so the platform, the new platform we're going to be using, as well as we're going to be adding to, I should say, to what we're doing now, has brought this talk on before we do go into each individual chakra, which we are going to get into. It'll be probably an 8-week, it'll probably be the 7 chakras plus a review at the end. So it'll be an 8-week process. And I've just decided or been guided to not start that today, simply so that we're not changing platforms in the middle of it. So that's why we're doing that. But Spirit talks to you in many ways. So we all know that, or most of us know, or probably all of us know, that meditation is by far the best way to get in touch with spirit, be guided by spirit. But sometimes even meditation, you don't get a vision in, you don't get answers in your meditation. Of course, meditation always goes along with prayer, so we have to pray as well. Or sometimes people do a prayer meditation. But either way, the meditation is the listening part of the prayer. And we know that we get information from that. We know that we can get guidance from that. We know that we can get deep enough into it eventually that we can become much different people than what we are now. We can become more spiritual. We can become more awakened. We can do all kinds of things in meditation. But sometimes those meditations we don't give all the credit for what they do. They calm us down to not just to bring in the visions from there and the information from the actual meditation, but we also calms us down enough to bring in, absorb, be aware of other methods of information. For instance, it might be all of a sudden out of the middle of nowhere that you have had this book on your shelf that you haven't read because somebody gave it to you, or you thought it was a good idea to buy, but you just haven't read it yet. And all of a sudden, you intuitively know that it's time to read that book. And that's part of spirit talking to you. What becomes a resonance to you, what resonates to you now that didn't resonate before, is because you weren't ready for it before, and now you are. Now spirit can talk to you through that book. It can talk to you through the reading and the understanding and the awareness that book might give you. It may do the same thing through media, through film, through social media, through different things that you see or hear that you've passed over and said, I don't know that I want to listen to that, or I don't want to see that, or I don't want to pay attention to what's being said in that particular thing. It could also be, of course, I'm dating myself here, but it could also be through audio, just straight audio, like a podcast or an old cassette player. That's why I say it's dating myself, because now people use cassettes, but there's DVDs, CDs that are sometimes spiritual music that will bring bring an inspiration to you or a message to you through the calming of the music, through the calming from the words that are sung in the song. These are all ways of talking to you through spirit. That's what that is. Well, now I want to go into this. May not be as long a talk as normal because we're just giving examples of how spirit can talk to you. But one of the other ways that I find very interesting, and it's happened to me many a time, is talking to you through other people. Um, I remember one time that forget what exactly I was supposed to be doing, but I was supposed to be taking some kind of medication and I was balking at it. And somebody had told me that I needed to start using this. They didn't even know I'd been told by a medical professional to use it. And then one time, then the few days later, a week later, whatever, I walked into Walmart and somebody in there mentioned it to me just in passing, and they didn't even know me. And when you get two or three people telling you the same thing, it's spirit talking to you about something that you should be paying attention to. It's basically saying, in many ways, intuitively, you know that you're not paying attention to your intuition. So we're going to talk to you in another way to get you to pay attention. And so I'm going to sit down for a moment. Um, so yeah, so we're talked to through other people, sometimes through deja vu moments, sometimes through um, situations. You go to a gathering, and whatever that gathering might be, a spiritual gathering, a community gathering, whatever it might be, and you get the same message from two or three different gatherings over a month or 6 weeks period that you're not paying you're not paying attention again to your intuition. Intuition is by far, in my opinion, one of the most complicated things to pay attention to. I say that because many a times people work with their brain and work with instead of working with intuition. And some people can't discern the difference. Am I thinking that? Should I be doing that? Or is my intuition telling me to do that? Some people just don't understand or are not in touch enough with their intuition, and me included. There are times that I don't pay any attention to my intuition, and I should be. So we have to be told in other ways, whether it be a situation, to several gatherings, people talking to you. Well, that's exactly what happened with this new system that we're going into. I had been talked to about this months ago. Well, actually, I should start from the beginning. I thought about this months ago, and because I'm not familiar with everything on social media, I balked at it. Then I was told by another person that would be the way to go. I still balked at it because I didn't know how I was going to do both venues, both platforms, and then I just recently I had been told by a couple people so that I should be doing this, and did not want to give up the process that I'm doing now. So I still balked at it, and then another person came into my life again for first time in quite a while, several years, and reintroduced this all to me. And this particular person was a little more versed in it and gave me some ideas to think about. Now, so that's when we decided that we would do the live session on one platform and do a recorded session on the other platform, and we'd still hit both platforms because I kept balking at the fact is how am I going to do live on both platforms at one time? So, and now we have help. We have help from at least two different sources to help us manage this and get familiar with it. And so we're going to be moving on rather quickly. Um, I mean, it was only been 10 days ago or so that I was told about this, and now we're moving on within it. But my intuition had already told me that that's what I should have been doing before I ever talked to these other people. And so that's what sparked today's talk about all the different ways that spirit talks to us. Because spirit is that oftentimes is that soft voice in the back of your mind and that you don't listen to all the time, and therefore you're not as aware of it because you have a bunch of louder voices that are hollering at you to do this and that, and those louder voices are usually a result of third dimensional thinking, third dimensional pressures that we seem to have grown up with in the programming and that we've had over our lifetime of this incarnation. So getting in touch with intuition is by far a very important part of it. I know many, many years ago when I was looking into this, and I said, okay, I don't know what intuition is. And I had to read a book on intuition to find out what it is. And the reason I didn't know what it is because this has been many years ago, is because for men we call it a gut feeling. And it's just the difference between a woman's intuition and a man's gut feeling. It's the same thing. But the terminology did not mix with me. It did not, and I did not understand it. So intuition is, well, it's hard to explain for me to explain. I've had people disagree with me on what intuition is, but intuition basically is spirit talking to you, your own spirit, because you are guided by your own spirit. And that spirit, of course, is connected to the unified field. And therefore, they know what's right for you in this incarnation. And I think that intuition is my definition of intuition is just spirit talking to you. Um, so we need to pay more attention to it. But we also need to listen to the people from out, how spirit talks to us from outside. From those people, when you get two or three people repeating the same thing that you need to do this, you might consider that you see that things ought to be done in a different way than what you're doing them. And when they all three say, or sort of two or three or four say the exact same thing, maybe not in the exact same words, but the same idea, it's something to pay attention to. It's something to look at. Um, and I do believe, though, in some instances, maybe all instances, I don't know, when that happens, you don't get the recollection of what's going on until it's actually time for you to move on. Um, if I had started this back when I was intuitively told to do it, I may have not been properly prepared, properly um, able to do it. So by the reminders coming over several months, because they don't all have to be within 2 or 3 days, it could be within months, but it gave me time to think about it, how to do it, where I was doing it, what I'm doing, Um, and now it's time. And so just because you didn't listen to it and you think that you're not good enough to listen to your intuition properly or whatever, doesn't mean that that was the right time. The seed was planted by that outside source, by your intuition first, and then by the first outside source. And as it goes on, depending on how fast it is, that's when you become more aware of it and more prepared for it and more set in the right time for it, so that it's not necessarily has to be done in a day. It can be done over months, sometimes over years. Um, you know, I have a question coming from the peanut gallery. Oh, it's a comment.
Yeah, I just want to say that spirit loves you and gives you as many chances as you need.
That's true. Mary says spirit loves you and gives you as many chances as you need. And it's all spirit's always trying to bring you back to the right path if you veered off of it. I remember, if you remember, we talked briefly well, it's been probably 2 months ago now, about how spirit can take you on a path and or how you can go off the path of spirit and it circles right back around to the path that you're supposed to be on. And that's what spirit does. It brings you right back and gives you another chance because of the love that it has for you. Because the spirit is love. So it allows you to go on your own sidetrack, your own side path, learn something and come back to it. It allows you to do that. That's the free will that we have. But ultimately, it tries to bring you back to the path that you're supposed to be on. So pay attention to what's going on in your life. Be more aware of what people are telling you. Be more aware of what your intuition might be saying to you, but don't beat yourself up for not getting it right away. You will get the proper information. And as my wife says, if you don't get it, spirit will hit you over the head with a frying pan, usually cast iron. And they'll say, wake up, it's time to do something. So, yeah, pay attention and be receptive, be teachable, be able to absorb the stuff around you, be able to be part of your own awareness of your own self, um, and not be dependent on other people. This all goes back to several of you. If you look over some of the old videos that we have, you'll see about free thinking, you'll see about meditation, you'll see all kinds of stuff that we've talked about that would help you with this. And don't be afraid to let it resonate to you to read a new book or to watch a show or to be part of a group of people that are more like-minded to you, and you can discuss these things and come up with new guidance from that. Um, because spirit doesn't just use intuition and talking through dreams and meditation. It uses many, 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 many different sources if you become aware of it. So with the energies of today that are coming out, sometimes it's a little complicated, sometimes it's a little confusing, confounding as to exactly what's going on. And that's it when it becomes even more important. Fairly short talk today, but as we move on to the next platform that we're going on to, please be aware that we're not abandoning you in any way. And as we end this today, as we always say, be spiritual in everything you do.